Cinesmack contains spoilers of the spoiling type. If you don't want your spoilers spoiled, please turn back now. Otherwise, enjoy the show!
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to the main event! This is Cinesmack! And the winner is...
Hello, Cinesmacketeers, and welcome to bout number 70 of the podcast about films by filmmakers. This is our 6-year anniversary show. I am your host, Mike Keeler. Joining me tonight is our panel of award-winning judges. First, filmmaker and owner of Cheshire Moon Films, Tom Haggis.
Hey, that's me. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. What's up?
Second, filmmaker and owner of One Genome Short Productions, Gabriel Rowald.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yes, you are, Gabe. Third,
Yes, I am.
writer, actor, and our token Christmas episode guest, Kyle Fine.
Hey, I'm the fat one.
Last but not least, filmmaker, actor, and OG Cinesmack founding judge. Welcome back, Mr. Mark Johnson.
I just want to say to all the Cinesmack listeners out there, you are my number one customer. I mean that.
Okay. Well, so we're recording this a week late because a couple of us had some issues with our first recording date. And I have to say, I kind of went back and rewatched these movies again. And I don't know if I enjoyed them a second time within a couple weeks of each other.
I can't imagine.
So yeah, let's get this ball rolling. Let's poke the monkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, last-minute shoppers and Santa Slayers, welcome to the main event! Tonight, it's the Terminator versus the Toolman to see who can spread the most Christmas cheer and who goes home with a Turbo Man up his chimney. In the first quarter, from 1996, directed by Brian Levant, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and Phil Hartman. Jingle all the way! In the second quarter, from 1994, directed by John Pasquale, starring Tim Allen, Judge Reinhold, and Wendy Crewson, the Santa Claus!
Let's start with our first round, which is writing.
For movies like this is always difficult for me. I try to be positive about it, but I'm not sure the writing was too terribly strong for either of these. I think the concepts themselves were pretty solid. The whole Santa Claus idea it's a pretty fun idea, but I felt like the writing was pretty haphazard for Santa Claus. It felt, it didn't really feel all that cohesive or linear. It's just kind of like, okay, we've got these gags to get in, let's get them in. And who knows how much they cut out. And there's always a fine line, too, between, what's the result of writing, what's the result of editing. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like, in a certain sense, like things were kind of glossed over, or glanced over, or rushed a lot in the Santa Claus. And I'm not sure if that was writing or editing. Maybe a little bit of both. Now, Jingle All the Way, I felt was a little bit stronger. It had a stronger core concept. It felt like a more... The story felt a little bit more planned out, I guess. Maybe that doesn't sound like a good thing, but in this case it is. it just felt like just a more cohesive story to me. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I didn't feel like either of these were very strong. You guys?
Oh my God, really? I thought Santa Claus was at least kind of a more creative concept. Than,
it was pretty. The concept was pretty creative.
I mean, Jingle on the Way. I mean, somebody sat down in a meeting and like, let's take everything that sucks about Christmas and put Arnold Schwarzenegger in the middle of it and see what happens. And I was just like, I watched it. By the end, I hated Christmas and I hated Arnold Schwarzenegger. If it's possible, I hated episode 1 of Star Wars even more.
Ooh.
Oh.
Because of little Jake Lloyd. And by the end, I really just kind of hated humanity as a whole. I really hated his wife for not recognizing him.
Yeah, I know.
But we're talking about writing. So
I know there's all kinds of other things that we can get into.
But yeah, as far as the story goes, I thought that was just they're both pretty crap. But Santa Claus actually had kind of a lukewarm feeling towards people at the end. But Jingle All the Way, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do Amazon for everything else I need. I'm not leaving the house.
You didn't. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I think both of these films kind of have, they're kind of star vehicles, right, of that time, and the plots are very thin. But I agree that the Santa Claus had more going for it plot-wise. I feel like in between the big, long action sequences, for some reason, in Jingle All the Way, was just this bare plot kind of dragging it along. And I think it was far too long and just kind of was a collection of things thrown together that they wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to do. It just didn't kind of make sense. I don't know. And I think these things are they're so stamped from the time, they're so quintessentially 90s, that I just kind of got pissed off watching Jingle All the Way. And I found myself actually enjoying the Santa Claus.
Yeah, I guess we should be clear here because it's actually Santa Claus 2, right? Or are we talking about Santa Claus 1?
What?
I'm going to be mad if it was Santa Claus 2 because I like Elizabeth Mitchell and I would have loved to see her in either of these movies. And if I miss out on that opportunity, I'm going to be mad.
No, it was the first Santa Claus.
Okay, I'm glad I watched both because I.
Oh my God, you watched both?
Yeah,
Why, Gabe? Why?
Let me explain. I had to because. Well, I'm glad I did too because I thought we were going to do Santa Claus 2. Oh no, it's not. I'm glad because I'm like I can't watch Santa Claus 2 without having watched the first one. Now, Santa Claus 2 is in my opinion,
did you hear that? Tom just
improvement
left.
over 1 in all respects. But I'm glad I clarified that.
Yeah,
because I might have started talking about 2 sometime during the show, but I did watch them both but I did not subject myself to the third one. Not yet, anyway. Maybe I just need to close out that chapter of my life.
Is that the one with Martin Short?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Good luck with that.
That's what Jack Frost.
Jack Frost, right. Santa Claus 2 was the sequel 8 years after the first Santa Claus, which probably isn't a good sign.
No, I'm pretty sure the guy that greenlit that movie, I've been behind him in line at Starbucks before, where I'm like, will you just make up your fucking mind?
Yeah, anyway, sorry. I just wanted to clear that up because for some reason I think I had written down Santa Claus 2.
That's about as bad as me having to watch both movies twice.
Did anybody watch Jingle All the Way too?
No, I didn't.
Oh God,
with Larry the Redneck Guy.
Yeah, I saw that he was in that.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't aware that was a thing.
Yes, it is.
Well, now I have Saturday planned.
So one thing that really bothered me about Jingle All the Way was there's that scene at the beginning of the movie where Phil Hartman says to Schwarzenegger, you really got to make sure you have chains on your tires, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, it's Chekhov's snow tires, right? Something's going to happen. Arnold's not going to put the tires on. The car's going to spin out or whatever.
Yeah.
and I just waited the whole movie for something goofy to happen with the car. It never materialized.
Huh.
It's true. It's totally true.
Yeah,
They kind of make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have cut that scene. It served no purpose. But,
Except for introducing them to the reindeer, which kind of served its purpose later.
Yeah.
The whole tires thing could have been cut out.
yeah.
Mark,
That's
if you
my
take
big
just if you take a snippet of what you just said, that it made no sense, and you could have cut that scene out, you could be talking about half of Jingle All the Way.
This is true. But no, but even if when the jokes are bad and there's like a setup, there should at least be a payoff, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Well,
Yeah, I think it's known as Chekhov's reindeer, where if you see a reindeer in the first act, it better attack you by the end of the second act, or you've just done a really bad job as a
wait,
writer.
are we talking about Chekhov from Star Trek?
Right.
He has a reindeer with
Yes.
snow tires?
Yes.
Fair enough. I dig it. All right. You guys want to talk about any more about the writing about these two movies or lack thereof?
At what point do we talk about casting?
That'll be acting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which is next category?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
All right. So, yeah, let's put it to a vote. Let's start it off with Gabe.
Oh, man, yeah, tough. I don't know. I don't know how to make this decision. It hurts. I'm going to go Jingle All the Way, I think.
What?
All right.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Tom.
I'm voting for the Santa Claus
All right.
because
Kyle.
it's the worst writing.
Kyle.
Better.
I am also voting for the Santa Claus.
And Mark.
And there's no Chekhov's no tires in Santa Claus, so that will be my pick.
He wasn't in either movie. All right.
He should have been.
The story of Jingle All the Way is based on the 1980s shopping frenzy over the Cabbage Patch dolls. And that is all the trivia I could find for writing on either movie. So that should say something.
Right, but did you feel like that a lot of those things were still relevant today? That it's 20 years old and we still experience those things.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Shopping.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have friends that are trying to find those hatchables or whatever they are.
Yeah, whatever they're called, Hatchimals.
And then, I mean, I know people our age that are scrambling that want to get one of those NES classics.
Do you know where there is one?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
I have
No,
a
you're right.
I have a
Talk to you later.
I have a retro Pi that has all the games on it, so I don't need that. Plus, I have an old NES downstairs.
An actual retro one.
Yeah.
Real retro.
Yeah, real retro. All right, let's move on to our second round, which is, wait for it, Kyle, acting.
I don't know. Obviously, both these guys were kind of at their height of their popularity. So, I mean, they must have done something wrong to be put in these movies. I mean,
Piss somebody off.
Really, they could have written their check for anything they wanted. And obviously, how reluctant we are to pick a winner in the writing category. Obviously, I don't know who's reading scripts for them. But then you look at the other movies that these two have made, and they're clearly not very good at picking scripts. Neither one of them. I mean, to be honest with you, Arnold's made some good movies, but my dog occasionally poops in the grass sometimes too. So, I want to talk. I want to talk about
Where else does it poop?
Yeah, we're
in the landscape rock. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's landscape rock.
All right.
She sometimes misses. So, I'm trying to get worked up here. So, I think the best acting in the whole movie, in both movies, was Phil Hartman. I love him, and I would just watch him do anything because he's so funny in everything he does. And I can always stand to get more Phil Hartman. I haven't watched Small Soldiers yet, though, so I don't know if I'm up for watching that one. But
Great.
I don't know.
That's what we'll do next month then.
No, it's not. So I would like to announce that this is my last episode of Zizmag.
That was sudden and out of the blue.
Oh no! It's been coming for a while. I almost made the same threat last month when Mike picked these two. So anyway, I think
He couldn't even wait till the end of the episode. It's like right in the middle. I'm retiring right now.
I'm out.
See ya.
I consider myself the luckiest man. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I got. Luke Eric jokes, all I got. So somebody else want to talk about acting?
Wow. Well, yeah,
Gabe's going to follow that up. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly. I guess I'm going to try to get us back on track a little bit. As far the word acting used in the same sentence as Arnold Schwarzenegger seems to be counterintuitive. Mm-hmm. I've never really thought he was really much of an actor. He's got certain like characters he can play, but I've never really thought he was any kind of an actor. So, and honestly, at first when the movie started, I'm like, why is Arnold in this movie? I'm like, what? Why did they cast him for this?
Yeah, you really could have used any other actor in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could have. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, well, it's going to devolve into kind of a slapstick action movie, and then that's when I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, because that's his thing, right. Is the action movie thing. But I'm not sure he's all that. I'm not sure he's that good at, the comedic part of it, like comedic timing and that kind of thing. I think he's got a very kind of limited set of roles that he can really fill suitably. And then when I was watching the Santa Claus, I'm like, why was Tim Allen so popular? Why was he so popular? I didn't think he was that funny. I was just like, he's not that funny. He's kind of doing his home show. What was that called? The show he was
Home
on?
Improvement.
Yeah. Home Improvement. He was kind of doing a lot of that stuff. Even the ho, ho, ho thing was kind of like, ho, 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 however he did his thing. I'm like, he's just not that funny. And maybe it was because of the age of the film and that kind of thing, or the fact that it was a children's film. Maybe he couldn't really do his normal kind of comedy. But I thought for the leads in both of these, neither of them were very strong.
Well, and I think what helped them pick the leads was what's going to make people get in the theater. So Tim Allen was hot at the time, so they're like, well, let's ask Tim Allen. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he has a criminal record, and they made an exception for that. And Disney does not hire people with criminal records. Like, they just don't. Apparently, they don't. It said I found somewhere, and they made an exception just to bring him in on the movie. And I mean, Schwarzenegger, it's like that's usually going to put butts in seats. Not now. Back in the '90s, yeah, it did. I mean, back before he started making these really crazy decisions on certain films, and before he became governor.
Yeah, well, and I guess he can kind of do comedy, I guess, with, what's the one that, it's not a Tuma.
Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, I mean, there was some funny stuff in there, but I don't know if that was him. The kinda, but not. I'm not saying it was a comedy hit, but I remember that one more than I would Jingle All the Way.
Running Man was pretty funny.
In points, yeah.
Yeah, and then what's the... God, I cannot remember the names of these movies. My brain is fried. Like the Mars one, where he
Total
goes
Recall.
Total Recall, yeah. There was some comedy in there. It was kind of funny when his eyes bulged out in that one scene, and then when he was trying to pull that tracking device or whatever out through his nose. Yeah, that was funny. Anyway. Yeah. No,
Demolition Man. That's another one.
No, that's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my God, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought that was Schwarzenegger doing a Sylvester Stallone.
Trust me, that's like my favorite Sylvester Stallone movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it.
Than say like Rocky or something.
No, I love Demolition Man. I don't know why. If it's on, I gotta watch it.
Is it because every restaurant is Taco Bell?
Yeah. Yeah, they won the franchise wars. Yeah, exactly. Dennis Leary, Sandra Bullock. Oh, wait, we're recording.
Mike, you
sorry.
and I got to watch Demolition Man.
Yep. Have a blanket party.
Dennis Leary lives in the sewers, you guys.
He does. All right, sorry. Get back to the Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, we've really
Where his
really-
mouth belongs.
that's okay.
Okay, I'll try to tackle this acting thing. All right. So, Tom hit it right on the head. I don't know who's reading these scripts, but they did a disservice to these two mediocre actors, anyways. I don't know. But these are people, this is at some of their hottest times in their careers where they're signing on for these movies that the studio probably thinks are going to be big hits. I get sort of Tim Allen's appeal in a kind of a broad sense, I suppose. He had much, much better comedic timing than Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a funny sentence to even have to say. But in Jingle All the Way, while I was watching it, I just kept thinking, all these people are giving Arnold Schwarzenegger shit. He looks like a monster. He would destroy all of you.
Yeah.
Right.
And Phil Hartman is like making moves on his wife and giving him shit. And I mean, I think it would be a better movie if him and Phil Hartman switched roles. And Phil Hartman was the ineffective husband, and he was the studly neighbor who was trying to move in on his wife. But I don't think he could do that role either. But I just think it would make more sense. But obviously, Phil Hartman's not like a box office draw.
Oh, and wouldn't he have been so much better? I mean, just think about it.
Oh, for sure.
And then it would have been an even better transformation for him to be kind of an ordinary guy and then turn into a superhero.
Yeah, but I think you guys hit it right where they I think they just work backwards with Jingle All the Way. They're like, okay, so we got this guy and he ends up in an action figure suit, an action hero suit. So who can we get that's action hero-y?
Right.
Oh,
right.
Stallone's busy. Oh, how about Schwarzenegger? All right, get him on the phone, type of thing.
I feel like maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger is acting at his best when he doesn't have to move his face very much or talk a lot. And I think Jingle All the Way made him do both of those things, and it really caused a problem. I feel like he spent a lot of his interaction time with Sinbad listening, nodding, grunting, or shaking his head, because I don't think he understood half the things Sinbad was saying. And Sinbad is like this. That's true. He's this weird 90s dark reality that's put into this movie where he's a crazy postman. He's threatening to kill people. There's a bomb threat in this movie that ends up blowing up cops. And then I was like, oh, that's the type of movie this is, when all the cops are alive and show up with just burned hands.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Oh, okay.
And
right. And the weird faces. Martin Mull cameo, I'm like, okay, he's just a guy who works at a radio station. It's very strange to cast him there.
Long hair.
And I felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't belong in that family. Like he was a German spy who's living undercover with this American family. They had no chemistry, and I saw the actor in Jake Lloyd that he would grow up to be an Anakin Skywalker, which is bad and annoying me. And then the child in the Santa Claus was a much better actor at a much younger age. And I thought some of the elves actually gave decent performances. Judge Reinhold acted kind of like a skeleton walking around, not knowing what he's doing. It was just so hollow and had like no emotion, and is obsessed with weenie whistles.
Yeah, that was weird.
He's had a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
damn,
right?
you took it.
Very timely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got arrested.
Really?
Yeah.
I had not heard this.
Didn't he freak out at TSA or something like that?
Yeah, he didn't want to be searched.
Yeah.
Because he was on the radio earlier that day doing a cocaine rant. And then he gets on a plane like, dude, come on. Not that bright.
I'm just hoping at the trial the Eastern Conference All-Stars are the jury that convicts him.
Oh.
Oh, my God. Yeah, in this day and age, Sinbad, like, threatening cops with bombs, I mean, he wouldn't have made it out of the first 10 minutes of the movie.
No, they would have shot him.
Yeah,
I thought he's a black man threatening cops with a bomb. He's gonna die.
This movie
Is
aged.
that too topical? I'm sorry. Did I make it too real?
This movie aged horribly.
Oh Jesus! These movies are such time capsules from the '90s. People using payphones.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was hilarious.
Mark posted a pretty good post on Facebook about it. Jingle All the Way done now, and it just shows a computer monitor and
Yeah, he orders Turbo Man on Amazon.
yeah,
Basically.
Right.
Yep. And is like done.
Has to ship it overnight and
Yep.
spend extra. Yeah, that would be the drama is how much is he going to have to spend for
Get
shipping
here before Christmas.
Yeah.
So speaking of these kind of looking like the 90s, was it just me, or does Tim Allen's ex-wife progressively looks more and more like Mia Wallace at Jackrabbit Slims as the movie goes on? Like she's got like the short black hair and the outfits become more white. Did anyone else notice that, or am I crazy?
No, yeah, I kind of noticed. I was like, oh, that's when like everyone was trying to do the short hair on a woman thing. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with short hair on a woman. It's just you kind of saw that in the 90s, especially after Pulp Fiction. It's very 90s.
I thought her hairstyle and then the kid's hairstyle, I was just like, who? I actually stuck around and watched the credits to find out who did the hair. So I never accidentally got a haircut from that person.
Wow.
Did you guys see the after credit scene?
I did.
What?
Yeah.
There's a post-credit scene on Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
It's almost
the
like a
best news I've ever
teaser. It's almost like a teaser for this sequel that might happen.
Oh, it did with Larry the Cable Guy.
Well, so in the reality of this world, 20 years later, Arnold Schwarzenegger looks like Larry the Cable Guy. Mm-hmm. Like something's happened to him. He's had some experimental surgery, or
No, the internet happened to him.
Oh no.
He just sits at home and is amazed by what this magical box can do. Sorry, I killed it. That's my fault.
Okay.
I didn't see the after credits sequence either. In my two viewings.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to hear Mark
sequence
describe
is
it.
Basically, Rita Wilson going to Schwarzenegger on Christmas Day, and everything's perfect. And she's like, honey, you did such a great job getting Jamie his toy. You know, what did you get me? And then you have like the awkward sitcom zoom in on Schwarzenegger going, Zoinks? I don't know.
Oh, that's the scene. That's the scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
Crap! I did get to see that. Dang it! I thought there was part of that movie I didn't see, and I was feeling good about myself.
Nope, you saw it.
Damn it! There's 30 seconds I'll never get back.
So this movie, because she's like, I feel like she has to keep the rest of the film grounded, because Phil Hartman is basically like a sociopath.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is like bipolar. Like, she has to ground the film, and her kid, all he wants is a damn toy. So she has to be like the common sense person, and she's just like torn so many different ways. She's wondering why her husband gets all the good work and winning back-to-back Oscars and stuff.
That's right, because she's
It's
married to Tom Hanks.
She's like, why do I have to deal with this? Why do I have to deal with Sinbad? I guess she didn't have to deal with Sinbad directly, but
I like Sinbad. All right. I mean, I was laughing at his part. I don't know. I've always liked Sinbad. And
he chokes a woman in line.
That's all right, though. She deserved it.
Standing there.
Did you?
No, I agree. He's very dark comedy, very... oh, God. You know, that was when everyone was like, well, don't go postal. So, you know, of course, they were like, okay, we got to have this postal worker that's psychotic.
Okay, another thing that's weird about Sinbad was at the end of the movie when they're fighting in the costumes and outfits, his hand propels at Turbo Man.
Yeah.
And then it's like he wiggles his fingers.
Yeah.
That's on TV, but Sinbad, he's a human being, right? That's not supposed to work that way. I don't know.
Magic.
Yeah.
There is a weird moment in that movie where things become so unreal. After the explosion and the cops are just covered in like cartoon black smoke, you're like, oh shit. Well, I suppose this is after the warehouse fight where the Big Show from WWE punches Vern Troyer in the face.
Was that actually Vern Troyer?
It was.
Yeah.
He fights
I was going to say, it kind of
warehouse.
looked like him, but he wasn't in the credits.
Like the least talented Belushi takes him to a warehouse. And he gets in a fight with a bunch of crooked Santa Claus. What a weird operation that is. Why are they all dressed up while they're making fake toys?
I don't know, but I don't know. Bizarre. I found that
a
funny.
guy with nunchucks, candy cane nunchucks.
Yeah, and then what was it? The Big Show was the
yeah.
giant Santa.
I mean, he was in good shape back then.
Yeah, And I found it funny that Tom said it made him hate Star Wars Phantom Menace even more. And I'm just watching, I'm like, is this why Jake Lloyd was cast in the Phantom Menace? Like, I just kept thinking that whenever I saw his face. And the cop drove me crazy. I'm like, I know that guy. I know that. So I had to look it up, and it's Robert Conrad. And I way back when the History Channel first came on, like, not only did they show all these documentaries about only Hitler, it seemed like that's all the documentaries they had. They had a show on there called, what was it, the Black Sheep Squadron or whatever, and he was the head of it. It was a World War II show about planes. But anyway, that's where he's from. So it was driving me crazy, and I agree. Martin Mull is the DJ. They were like, hey, we're friends with Martin Mull. Is there something you can do? Yeah, he could be the DJ. Let's see. And Harvey Korman plays the president. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. And who was his wife? Was somebody too, I thought.
Lorraine Newman.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Saturday Night Live.
Yep. So
There's a lot of Saturday Night Live people in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parnell was in.
Yeah.
That's right.
And every time I see Parnell, I think of him from Hot Rod. I can't help it. With his tattoo, with AM radio, peeing on FM and
Hovering
TV.
safely out of the stream of urine.
All right. Boy, I think we've gone through that enough. But yeah, Judge Reinhold's had a pretty rough week. And I was all ready to say last week, I was ready to say, you know what? It's a good day whenever I can talk about Judge Reinhold and Sinbad. But yeah, can't do that now. And it was a joke. But anyway, this just in from 2001.
Oh, you finally saw that. You're talking about writing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say. I thought this was interesting.
A small Detroit publishing firm won $19 million in a lawsuit against 20th Century Fox after a jury in Michigan agreed that the movie studio, 20th Century Fox, had stolen the script for a hit Christmas movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Murray Hill Publications claimed in the lawsuit that the script for the 1996 movie Jingle All the Way bore a remarkable resemblance to the screenplay Could This Be Christmas, written by high school teacher Brian Allen Webster. The screenwriter for Jingle All the Way, listed as Ed McQueen, was actually an alias for Randy Cornfield, a script reader at 20th Century Fox. Lawyer for the publishing firm, Mayor Margorith. It doesn't matter. Which brought the rights
It does to her.
Yeah, well,
You could be listening, Mike.
so apparently they bought the rights to Webster's screenplay, pitched it to several movie studios, including 20th Century Fox, a unit of News Corp, in '93, without finding any interest. Soon after 20th Century Fox purchased the rights to Jingle All the Way, which grossed $80 million at the box office. Lawyers and officials for 20th Century Fox did not return telephone calls from rooters seeking comment. They're like, screw you, we just lost $19 million. So yeah, there you go. It was written by a high school teacher.
Why would anybody step in and be like, oh, that one's mine?
Yeah.
I mean,
I found a
totally
different
can,
article, and it said there are 37 similarities between their screenplay and Jingle All the Way.
Wow.
coincidences. That's all.
That's it. That's all. I also wanted to point out that Schwarzenegger has done another Christmas movie. In fact, he directed it. It was called A Christmas in Connecticut. I believe it aired on TNT back in '92. It starred Diane Cannon, Chris Christopherson, and Tony Curtis. Guess what we're doing next year, boys?
Oh, Lord.
I'm kidding.
You're retiring too, Kyle.
I'm starting a new podcast called Scotchcast. So if anybody wants to join me,
Wait, I thought you were going to
I'll be
do.
under the desk.
I thought you were going to do Booksmack.
I like the Scotch cast.
Yeah, I like
Even if we talk
Scotchcast,
about
too.
books the whole time, I
Yeah.
don't care.
We'll be too drunk to remember it.
Yeah.
So, in The Santa Claus, an older release of the film, Tim Allen made a sarcastic remark in the movie which included the line 1-800-SPANK-ME. During the film's release, a woman from near Cleveland, Ohio, called the supposedly fictional number for her curious grandchildren It turned out to be a phone sex line. However, it wasn't until 97 when Disney received complaints from parents whose children called the number and racked up huge phone bills.
Oh, no.
Did the studio take action and cut the line for future releases? Disney also said that they would purchase the phone number to disconnect the service. This part of the film is also cut in the DVD's release.
Is it on the Criterion collection?
Oh.
Did someone say Criterion?
Can you hold on for a minute, guys? I need to make a quick phone call. Okay, all right.
So wait, at one point, Disney owned 1-800-SPANK-ME.
That's right.
That was on a balance sheet somewhere.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Hey, Frank, how much did we make from 1-800-SPANK-ME? I don't know. They said to disconnect it.
Profits are through the roof.
All these little kids are calling it.
Where do you think they got the money to buy Marvel?
Oh, shit. Give me some of that Spank Me money.
That's the quote of the night right there. Give me some of that Spank Me money. All right. Gabe.
Yeah.
Let's vote.
What are we voting on?
Acting.
Oh, my God.
I'm
We're
lost,
talking
too.
about acting?
Yeah.
It's another painful decision. I think I'm going to give it to Jingle All the Way in honor of Phil Hartman.
Okay. All right. Mark.
In the Santa Claus, when Tim Allen is questioned, like, do you want to do this? And, excuse me, he says something more to the effect of, like, what if I don't want to be Santa Claus? And all the elves stop cobbling or whatever. And there's that, like, toddler elf that looks like it's about to cry for reasons other than what Tim Allen's going through.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's just on the verge of just, like, bawling. And then it cuts to Tim Allen and he's like, fine, I'll be Santa Claus. That kid's the real MVP right there. And that's why I'm going with the Santa Claus.
Kyle.
I'm going to go with the movie that had what I think is superior reindeer acting, and that is the Santa Claus. Because if you can get a reindeer to look sarcastically at you and fart on command, you've got my vote.
You know those weren't real, right?
I don't want you to ruin Christmas for me anymore, Dad.
Tom.
We didn't talk about it, but the little girl that plays Judy the elf in the Santa Claus, she outacted Tim Allen, which I know it's not, a tall task, but I was watching it and, like, just paying the minimal amount of attention that I needed to get through it. And I was just like, wow, she's actually a pretty good little actress. Like, she seemed really sincere. Like, she was really believing the things she was saying. And I was impressed. So I'm going to give it to the Santa Claus because I thought Judy the elf, in spite of Phil Hartman, was the best actor in the entire two movies. So,
all right. Well, let's move on to our third round, which is directing.
Oh, boy.
should we just vote?
No. I feel like this, much like the name, what'd you say, Randy Corngood or whatever his name was? The guy who...
Cornfield.
Cornfield.
Yeah.
Fake ass name. That guy worked for Spank Me. That's a ridiculous name. Randy Cornfield. Okay. Much like that, this is mostly a tokenistic job. I, honest to God, can't remember who directed the Santa Claus at this point.
Oh, I can tell you. John Pasquin.
Okay, so Jingle All the Way was actually directed by... Hold on, let me use my Google machine.
Brian Levant.
Right, so he had some recent success, I believe, before doing this movie. If I'm not totally wrong. Well, let me see. His credits include Beethoven, right? Mm-hmm. So The Flintstones 2 years before this. Not great movies, but he had a little bit of cachet. But it felt like he was just interested in the set pieces of this movie, and a lot of the things went on way too long. I don't know how long they chased a bouncy ball from the third floor to the first floor.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous thing that was. And so it's just so strange. These little things that just drug you along. And the, I didn't particularly enjoy the directorial work in either of these films, but I think the Santa Claus looked much better to me, although the CGI is so horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, brother. And there are so many things that stamp these as 90s movies, and that's just another one of those things, like the way the CGI works. But the look of the Santa Claus invoked Christmas to me much more, and it had a much more hopeful and upbeat feel. I think Jingle All the Way was shot too much like an action film at points, which I understand with the actor and a lot of the big set pieces, but it just didn't ring true to me, and I didn't like it. The Santa Claus felt like more of a complete movie that was better put together, better shot, and Jingle All the Way felt very cut up into pieces, really long chunks that were too short. Some of the dialogue was way too long. They let Sinbad just go on and on and on and on, and without someone to play off of him, you see a perfect example. See the movie House Guest, where you actually get Sinbad and Phil Hartman, who can actually do some back and forth. He's basically acting at Schwarzenegger. And they're not doing a good job disguising it. They're just showing him look sort of bewildered and not reacting. Mm-hmm. And so I don't appreciate some of the choices I think they made with the shots they left in and the way they did that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that there's much to say about the directing of either of these. I felt like the Santa Claus was really strangely rushed in places. And again, that's where I was talking about kind of like, where is the line drawn between writing and editing and directing and that kind of thing. I just felt like it happened very fast. And I'm all for good pacing. Don't waste my time. Get to the point. But I also felt like it was going really fast and kind of glossing over things.
Yeah.
And not setting up some of the important parts of it, because at first there's only real mild resistance to Tim Allen becoming Santa Claus. He kind of like gripes about it. No, I don't want to do this. And then they get in the sleigh and they go, and then all of a sudden he's kind of into it. And there's no real, that to me, that's part of that character's arc. That's part of that character's change, where they're resistant to it at first, but then there's something that either forces or convinces them to go ahead with it. And I just didn't feel like that was there.
Yeah, the whole montage was just, like with him getting fatter and that felt very condensed. I would have liked to have seen more of him dealing with it.
Right. Yeah, and I just felt like it was weird that the pacing choices on it, and sometimes it felt like they cut things out. Like something happened in between here, and we didn't see it, and now we got to just kind of it's kind of implied. We just got to kind of assume that something happened here, and so I felt like that was kind of weird. And maybe that's the opposite of what Kyle was saying about Jingle All the Way, where it's like maybe it lingered a little too long on certain things. Like we saw too much of it. Like we could have cut some of that out, And I think that's a really important part of, a director's job is working with the editors to get that pacing. And I feel like maybe neither of them really got it quite right.
I applaud both directors for sticking to it and not and not throwing Alan Smithy's name on either of these movies. So, kudos to them for slapping their name up there and saying, I did that. So, there's so many good Christmas movies, and I don't know why they would. It seems like they were trying to, I don't know, cash in, obviously, and like, everybody will watch Santa Claus 20 years from now, and I don't. Do they? I don't know.
We did.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they were talking about.
One day this is going to be on a podcast. What's a podcast, boss? I don't know, but
it'll be on.
But it'll be on.
Black green beans. The peas. I should have said peas coming up pod. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think the work of either one. And I'm sorry, but the last 15 minutes of Jingle All the Way is like an absolute mess. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And like you said, like his fist comes flying off, and I'm just like, why didn't they do this like 2 minutes in? It would have like set the stage. Like, this is a wacky world where nothing is real, and it just completely goes off the rails.
Well, and I think what what part of our problem is too. Like we're middle-aged men looking at movies that I believe were pretty much made for kids. You know,
I'm not going to expose my children to Jingle all the way.
and that's just, I don't know. It kind of hit me halfway through the second time watching these movies. I'm like, maybe these weren't really made for me. Maybe these were made for someone younger, like, you know, much younger. But yeah, there's some problems there. I wanted to go through John Pasquin, the director for Jingle All the Way, or not Jingle All the Way, the Santa Claus, through some of his credits real quick before you guys say anything else. He directed a few episodes of Alice. You guys remember that TV show?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Kiss My Grits.
Yeah, Kiss My Grits. Growing Pains.
That's still funny.
R.I.P. Alan Thicke.
Yeah. Man, that sucks.
Dude,
Newhart.
who picked these movies? They are so topical.
Yeah, I did. Newhart, 30-something, Family Ties, L.A. Law, Roseanne. Oh, my God, there's a TV movie called Don't Touch My Daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's from 91. The Santa Claus, Jungle to Jungle, which also has Tim Allen. And who was the kid? Who played his kid?
In there, though.
He's the guy from Detroit Rock City, and he was in Not Another Teen Movie?
Jungle to Jungle.
It's not Sam Levine.
Yeah, it had Tim Allen, Martin Short, Joe Beth Williams, Sam Huntington.
Sam Huntington.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's see. Soul Man.
Wait.
Home Improvement.
Soul Man? With
no, the TV series.
Okay.
Yeah. Home
I was
Improvement.
thinking of the C. Thomas Howell movie.
Yeah. And
That
then
movie is so great and offensive.
it is. It is. Joe Somebody, another Tim Allen movie. The Dan Show, a few episodes of George Lopez, Miss Congeniality 2, Armed and Fabulous. Rules.
That's the shitty one.
Rules of Engagement. Christella.
Well, apparently he has a close relationship with Tim Allen.
Because his last directing credits are Last Man Standing, which is his latest
New
TV show on ABC.
Which is basically Home Improvement 2.
Yeah, is an older guy.
As far as I can tell.
Now, I want to say I loved Home Improvement when it was on. Like, I got really into that show. And then I went and saw The Santa Claus in the theater, and I hated it. And I guess I still hate it. So maybe it was never meant for me. I shouldn't say I hate it. I just don't care for it. So Brian Levant was a producer on Bad News Bears, just a TV show though. He directed an episode of Married with Children, the new Leave It to Beaver, Charles in Charge, Problem Child 2, which I love the Problem Child movies, Beethoven, The Flintstones, Jingle All the Way, the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. Yeah, that was greenlit. Snow
He
Dogs.
came back for a second bite at the Flintstone apple.
Yeah.
Huh? Wow.
Snow Dogs. Are We There Yet? The Spy Next Door. He did a couple Scooby-Doo TV movies. A Christmas Story 2.
I've never seen that. Have any of you seen?
No.
I have.
It seems
Boy.
like it would ruin things because Christmas
Don't
Story is
do it.
so awesome.
You know,
Don't
there's
do it.
there's another sequel called My Summer Story.
Oh,
And
really?
it's
It's a
actually-
sequel to Christmas Story?
Yeah, it's the summer. What happens the following summer? And Charles Grodin plays the kid's dad, plays the old man, and of course Charles Grodin's great and everything. So, I'm not recommending it, but
Hey, he was in Beethoven.
you could, and he's a Beethoven too. And thanks for bringing us back around. Mike. I appreciate it. We accidentally started talking about a good Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yep. And wait, his latest, it's completed. It's not out yet. It's going to be out in 2017. I know Tom will be there. Max 2, White House Hero. I have no idea.
Is
What's
that
Max
a
One?
dog movie or something?
I'm guessing it probably is. Production notes completed. That's it.
Done.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Just waiting.
And a
Just
whole bunch of people I've never heard of. So there you go.
until it comes out, and then it's going to be the big thing.
Yeah. Yep.
If you see one non-Marvel, non-Star Wars movie this year,
it's Max 2. All right, you guys have anything else to add on directing? Mark, we haven't heard from you about it.
I just wanted to say you guys touched on how Santa Claus feels kind of rushed in parts, and I kept thinking, the movie takes place over an entire year. It starts at one Christmas and ends at another.
Yeah.
Whereas Jingle All the Way is like the longest Christmas Eve in the history of Christmas Eve.
That's right. I was thinking that too.
Schwarzenegger gets up and he goes downtown, and then he goes to the Mall of America, and then he goes back home, and then he goes to a parade, and then there's the big shootout at the parade, and I just don't think he could get all that done in a day, realistically. It just doesn't seem possible.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, it doesn't stay daylight that long.
Right.
Especially
not
this time of year.
Minnesota.
Especially
Yeah,
Minnesota.
I think they only get like 20 minutes this time of year.
Right.
20 minutes.
Or is it the kind of thing where the sun never sets?
Oh, that's right.
Oh
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So and touching on what Kyle said earlier, well, maybe it's not even like the end of the movie. I think it's from the point where Arnold Schwarzenegger punches the reindeer and then serves it beer.
Yeah.
Like the movie just kind of makes this weird left turn where just bizarre things start happening. And I feel like the Santa Claus sort of tonally was the same all the way through.
It's nice though to have a movie that so blatantly is like, we gave up. Like, as soon as he gave the reindeer beer, I was just like, okay, here it is. I actually see like 3 people leaving the set in the background. Just, we're out.
Are we really
Do you think I should give the reindeer my beer? Yeah, Arnold, that's a great idea. I quit.
That's the second time Tom has quit tonight.
One thing that probably isn't a director's choice, but it could be. So Judge Reinhold's a doctor, but he drives a Volvo. Why would a doctor drive a Volvo?
A Volvo is one of the safest cars on the market. And I don't know why I know that, but I do know that.
He's so scared of being let down again that he drives the safest car you can.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, I guess that'll pass.
Well, I mean, Volvos were big, hot things back. I mean, they were. I don't know. Yeah, like.
Oh yeah, and they're the nice ones are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Is this just me, or I'm thinking of all these things that date these movies? Were '90s movies the hallmark of, shit's serious when people get a lawyer involved and take your kid's custody into court?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that was a very 90s thing that happened all the time. You're a bad dad, and then shit gets really real because they go to a judge.
Right.
And you're going to lose your visitation rights.
Right. And it's always the dad that has a son, but they're divorced.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That
Disney
plays a
did
lot.
it. Disney did it right. Just kill one of them off. Just kill them off.
Yeah.
Then there's no question of them coming back. Sorry, Snow White. Sorry, Cinderella. Sorry, Simba.
Yeah. There you go. All
Well,
right.
and even in Jingle All the Way, the neighbor kid's like, your parents should just get divorced. My dad got a lot happier when my dad got
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
See?
There are some dark elements in both these movies.
There are. Yeah, I wish we would have seen more during the year. Like, they just kind of glossed over it, and I'm just like, no. I wish we in the Santa Claus. I just wish we would have seen more of that happening. And like Gabe said, it may have been dropped in the editing suite. They might have been like, Disney was like, we need this under a certain amount of minutes.
Yeah, don't go over 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, the first cut is like 2 hours and 20.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And our first 2 editors killed themselves.
Keep the footage though. We'll save it for the Criterion.
Oh.
So do you suppose there's an extended cut where Schwarzenegger's like chasing the ball around the Mall of America, and we spend more time in the Lego area, and he gets on like the Snoopy ride, and he goes on like through Macy's, and then we find out what happens with the snow tires at the end.
This
Like,
is my
there's a
ball.
director's cut
This
where all
is
the
my
good
ball.
stuff is.
Director's cut.
I think you just described what's going to flash before my eyes right before I die. An extended Mall of America ball chase scene. Like the worst idea in cinema history. It's already 12 minutes long.
And what is up with the physics in that mall?
I can't understand it. And also, it basically just ends with a quiet kid putting the ball in his mouth, and Arnold Schwarzenegger looks like he's about to assault a child.
Was that him? I thought it was a her.
I can't tell.
I can't
It's an androgynous haircut.
She did. And if it is a he,
And
she,
it doesn't
I
speak,
apologize.
so
there's nothing wrong with that.
And after that, all the moms start hitting him with handbags. When was the last time you've seen that in a movie?
Oh, God. When was... I just saw that, actually, now that you bring it up.
It was probably in black and white.
No. Where was it? Oh, my God.
Doesn't that happen a lot in, like, cop movies? Some lady at the scene hits someone with a purse. I feel like that's a thing. I don't know.
Usually the sassy black woman. She kind of...
Right.
Yep.
I was assaulted by a handbag in '94, so it's legit. That was a thing at the time. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was trying to steal it at the time, but he was assaulted by a
I was out for a run with my cross country team, and we were passing the mental health hospital. Probably not smart. And I passed somebody on the sidewalk, and she clocked me with her handbag. It was great.
All right.
You still finished with your best time, though.
Yeah.
It would speed you up.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Run.
All right. Let's see. All right. I think we're done with this. Kyle, how do you vote?
I'm going to go with the Santa Claus because it makes more sense. But if in some weird reality the last half of Jingle All the Way is like a Jacob's Ladder scenario where the reindeer kills him and then it's just his perfect fantasy coming true as he dies in Phil Hartman's house, then I'm going to switch. But for now, it's the Santa Claus.
All right. I'll ask Mark later. Tom.
Is this overall?
No, this is we're directing.
Oh God.
What have we done?
Oh my God. Okay. Directing. So that's like composition stuff. I'm gonna go. I gotta go Santa Claus because the action scenes at the end of Jingle All the Way were fucking stupid as hell.
All right, Gabe.
I don't know. I'm gonna go Jingle All the Way for the hell of it.
All right. And Mark. Are you okay, Mark?
It hurts to be alive. I'm going to go with the Santa Claus. We have to vote for something. We're not voting against something, right?
Right, voting for something.
I'll vote for the Santa Claus. I want to vote against both of them. I'll vote for the Santa Claus.
All right. I already went through their credits. Let's just move on. Let's go to our fourth round, which is overall.
I don't know what else to say about these two movies. It really kind of bothered me. The kid in Jingle All the Way has this like Marvel painted room that was probably like hand done by Stan Lee himself or whatever, because there's the giant Captain America thing on the wall. But he really needs this toy, right? He he has everything, but he wants this toy, and that's just like the premise of the whole movie. Like I just felt like the director yelled, "There's no redeeming qualities in humanity. Now action!" Before every take.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because this was the 90s. This was when Marvel was just like selling anything they could just to make a dime. Like they were in trouble in a lot of spots. And just watching it, seeing it in Jingle All the Way, I'm like, holy cow. Yeah, Marvel at one time was in dire straits. And look at that wall. I bet they paid nothing to Marvel to have that in the movie.
Right. Oh, and oh my gosh, did you see the tick in the parade?
Yes.
How cool was that? That was like, I mean, the kids hi-fi over Snoopy. No, it wasn't Snoopy, it was Cat in the Hat. They're like, Cat in the Hat, yeah! And they jump in the air and do the...
Yeah, that's right! I was like, I've never been that excited ever for the Cat in the Hat. Even when I was little. Maybe the Mike Myers movie. No, I wasn't either. Sorry, go ahead.
It's off at the parade.
What's
They're
that?
Like, come along, kids, go to the parade.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I understand Rita Wilson and Phil Hartman need to have that moment or whatever, but you just don't leave your kids at a parade.
Yeah, with that many people. Times have changed.
Okay, so I just feel like I could rail against Jingle All the Way all day.
I have a feeling that you could.
I have fewer gripes about the Santa Claus, so my overall pick is going to be the Santa Claus.
Oh, well, we're not voting yet.
Oh, we're not voting. What are we doing?
No, we're discussing overall.
Oh, we're discussing overall? Okay, well, I'm going to ignore that last part.
You can vote, Mark. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just so we know, Mark is officially undecided, right?
Yes.
That's right.
So we can try to sway him?
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Okay.
Christmas
I don't want to try to sway you.
other
Vote
movie.
your conscience.
Well, and there's, but I don't know. In Santa Claus, there's all that weird like food shaming in the conference room, where they're like, "Really, you're going to have a second dessert?" I mean, that went on a little bit too long. Of all the things they could have cut out, that was a little awkward.
Yeah, and Peter Boyle, like, they could have given him, I don't know, better lines, better.
More to do.
Yeah.
Gave him
Like, I
nothing
just
to do.
felt that was like a huge waste.
Well, and it's funny because
He comes back and plays Father Time.
Yeah.
That was one of my trivia. Damn it.
Oh, damn it. Sorry, dude. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, oh, that's Peter Boyle. That's it. He played his boss in the first one. That is so weird.
Well, you would know that since you watched the
Yeah, I did
movie.
watch. Yeah.
You overachiever.
I have to say though, it was an improvement. That it doesn't take much, but it was an improvement.
All right. Well, I'll just mark it down. The Santa Claus 2 versus Jingle All the Way 2 next year.
No, please don't. I was reading a little bit about Jingle All the Way to. No, please don't.
And just one last thing. So, like, throughout all of Jingle All the Way.
Shot is kicking in.
It is. The alcohol's kicking in. Arnold always seems to be in these, like, fight or flight moments, right? He has the opportunity to get a toy, so he freaks out, and he does wild things, and he chases a ball through Mall of America. Yet when he goes to the warehouse at the end of the movie, and he's in the dark, and dudes are just stripping his clothes off of him, he's just content with that. That was just a little weird to me. Like that fight or flight didn't kick in, like, wait a second, I'm in a weird dark warehouse, and people are taking my clothes off. I'm just going to stand here and nod and listen to the guy talking to me.
Now, I
couldn't get past that.
I have had too much alcohol because you just were talking about dudes stripping him. I'm like, what fucking movie is he watching?
No,
And then I remember,
I
know.
He just wanders in.
I know. It took me a minute. It took me longer than what it usually does, which is kind of scary. I'm going to put this glass over here. Yeah. Sorry.
And that's the thing. Like, Tim Allen goes on this journey about, do I really believe in Santa? Is it important that kids believe in Santa? He has this, like, I mean, it's about Santa Claus, but he goes on this little journey about what he really believes in. Whereas Arnold's just trying to get a toy for his kid, and he just, like, looks into it by walking to a warehouse.
Yeah.
I just, like, I'm done. I'm out. You'll have to guess my vote because I was non-conclusive in my sayings.
Yeah. Do we have anything left?
I don't know. We've really, you know what? I want to bring up something.
In some of the other categories.
There's something that really bothers me in the Santa Claus, and it's the editor in me, possibly, but it's towards the end of the movie when he leaves, and then why hang on that shot and have him come back around? Like there were the shots where he comes back to the house or whatever, or when he's leaving the house after delivering the presents or whatnot, and he's like, "Yes, I am the Santa Claus, Timmy." It just really bugged me on the composition of the shot. And it just felt like they hung on it too long. And I'm guessing it's probably because they had to because of the VFX during that time. But
maybe.
Well, and I think they cut it. They could have cut it short, but probably they're like, we spent a lot of money on these VFX. We want people to savor and enjoy these.
Right.
That's
Even
a lot of
though
money.
they're
Yeah.
absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So
that really stood out, and I'm not sure that that's necessarily a symptom of the time. I think it was just bad visual effects. Maybe not enough budget for that kind of thing.
That could be because 94. So Jurassic Park was out in 93. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's no.
Oh
excuse
my
for this.
God.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's probably a budget thing and a priority type thing, but yeah, the visual effects should have never been that bad. They were just terrible.
They could have sped up the bullet effects in the Matrix, but no, they went really slow. You want to see every single bullet fly by. Because we can do this and nobody else can. Everybody watch.
Well, and I was thinking with the Santa Claus, like, he needed a friend, like, to talk to about what he's going through. Because it still really bugs me that they passed through that whole year with not much of anything going on. Like, it was just his work and him trying to keep his kid, and every once in a while, like, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm getting fatter. Oh yeah, I'm growing a beard and I can't get rid of it. Yeah, my hair's white." Like, there needed to be like a buddy system there where he could gripe and talk, and you could actually see this character going through these changes and what it's doing to him and how it's changing him, instead of just, I don't know. Still bugs me. It bugs me a lot.
I understand what you're getting at, but Mike, it's a Disney movie. They're not going to put a sex scene in there.
Oh.
I mean, clearly that's what you're beating around. You're literally beating around the bush, and yeah. They're not going to put a sex scene in there.
And that's why Elizabeth Mitchell is introduced in the sequel.
Yeah. It just, I don't know.
Does she become Mrs. Claus? Is that what happens?
That's right. Oh, you nailed it.
Oh,
Nailed it, Kyle.
Oh man.
Oh,
Kyle.
it was a hard thing to see coming.
Yeah,
That's what I love.
that's what she said.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Probably is because he's fat now.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause he's not going to see it.
No.
oh.
It's better the world doesn't see this.
All right.
This is horrible.
Yeah. All right. Any overall? Anything else? Because we're going to voting since Mark already voted. Kyle, vote.
So the Santa Claus also takes a weird turn towards halfway through the movie when he gets super fat and they stop caring about why he doesn't want to be Santa Claus, and they take him to court, and reindeers won't stop farting, and but Jingle All the Way to me was a lot like being in a mall scrum. And much like Sinbad yelled at one point in the movie, I too want to yell Rodney King and ask for it to stop. He literally yells Rodney King while he's being beaten on the ground. Yeah. Such strange collection of scenes and ideas. A crazy mismatch of casting that doesn't make much sense. And they take Arnold Schwarzenegger and they make him do the things he's the worst at for an hour and a half.
The talking.
And the talking, doing facial expressions. At no point does he have a gun. He gets to punch a reindeer, which he knocks unconscious with one blow, proving yet again he's a monster, and Phil Hartman should not mess with him. None of these people should be screwing with him. He's a Greek god put on Earth. I don't understand why they keep giving him shit. I vote for the Santa Claus, but, oh, boy, it's really picking the best out of the shit apples.
The less rotten out of the
Right.
rotten. All right. Or the least rotten, I should say. Gabe.
Yeah. I'll go with Santa Claus.
Gabe has nothing more to say.
I have nothing more to say.
Haven't you picked Jingle All the Way in almost every category?
Yes, he's been the only one.
I have picked some, yeah. It's tough. I'm telling you, it's tough decisions.
All right. Tom.
Are we voting?
Yes.
Oh, we didn't talk about cinematography.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go ahead. Hurry up.
Okay.
Hurry up.
Were we supposed to talk about that during directing?
Okay, so I'm going to vote for Santa Claus.
Wait, did you want to talk about cinematography?
Did you not have anything to say about cinematography?
I think he made his statement.
Did anybody have anything to say about cinematography?
Oh, was that it? Was that your
That
statement?
was my statement.
I think his fart noise was what he thought of.
I
both
thought it
of
was a
them.
reindeer in the room.
Oh. Nice. Topical.
Wow.
Classic.
All right. One thing I've always said with Schwarzenegger is you got to get him back with James Cameron. Like, James Cameron seems to be the one that can pull out good Schwarzenegger. Of course, I mean, look at True Lies. True Lies is fantastic.
So good.
And of course, like, Terminator, he doesn't have a lot to say. He just has to look freaking cool as a robot, and he does that very well. But after, let's see, I was trying to look for this. So after Jingle All the Way, where is it? There was, okay, are you guys ready for this shitstorm coming? Batman and Robin. End of Days.
Schwarzenegger after?
Yeah, he was Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I walked out of End of Days.
You
Remember
did walk
that
out of End of
coverage?
Days.
And I'm just 15 minutes in. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm out.
I watched Mark walk out, and I'm like, "Where's he going?" And he never came back.
I did go back. It was bad.
It was.
Is that the
pretty
one where
bad.
he like fights the devil or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought that on DVD.
The Sixth Day, Collateral Damage. All right, Terminator, and then Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. The Rundown, which he's just in there as a cameo. That's a great movie, but he's a cameo. Around the World in 80 Days.
What?
The Kid and I, and then nothing because he's governor, right? Comes back in the Expendables 2, is in The Last Stand, then Escape Plan, Sabotage, Expendables 3, Maggie, which I've heard good things about Maggie, but I haven't seen it, Terminator Genesis, and then there's Triplets, which has been announced, The Legend of Conan, which has been announced, Aftermath, which is completed apparently. I have no idea what that is. Journey to China, The Mystery of Iron Mask. I have no idea. Blanco and Why We're Killing Gunther. So, yeah, kind of after Jingle All the Way, because Eraser wasn't that great, but it wasn't near these films. Like, because Eraser was his movie before Jingle All the Way. Actually, it was released the same year. And Junior was in 94. And then you have True Lies, Last Action Hero, which bombed. And yeah, so all I'm trying to say is it's like giving back to James Cameron. Let's see a True Lies 2. I want more of Harry Tasker. No one? No? Okay.
I agree. In True Lies, though, they surround him with people who can actually do some acting and help him out.
Tom Arnold's the best part of that movie, all right? I love Tom Arnold in that movie.
And Jingle All the Way, I feel like everyone is either can't act because, like, Rita Wilson is trying to hold shit together, some semblance of reality going on, or they're Phil Hartman, who's, like, overly touchy and rapey and weird, Jake Lloyd, who's garbage tier actor, and, like, or Sinbad, who's acting and yelling at him. Like, he has no support at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that was my rant.
I gotta say, Jake Lloyd sucks. That's all I wanted in this podcast.
That poor kid.
Dude, he will kill you. He will kill you.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, shit, that's probably true.
Yeah, he is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Say, fun fact, high midichlorian count. That's right.
I think we should go around the table and say our names and addresses just so. I'm pretty sure Jake Lloyd's going to wind up at my house. I have not said anything bad about. I have actually.
Yeah, you have.
All right,
Don't worry, you can get Sinbad to protect you.
Quick pact. Okay, if any of us gets killed, that person will call everyone else on the podcast and warn them that Jake Lloyd is coming. Deal?
Okay, so I have a great horror movie idea. It's about us doing this podcast, and we diss on Jake Lloyd. He hears about it, and we all of us start disappearing. It's because of Jake Lloyd.
It's like Final Destination, but it's with Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
And this is our tragic event that we should not have survived.
Yes. All right.
I have a feeling if we start shooting that, we're not going to know when the movie is done and the real thing happens and he starts killing us.
Like true. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
Yeah. There
you
go.
got a reference for everything. You're the real Dennis Miller of Cinesmack.
Wow. There we go.
Everybody like that 90s joke?
Sure.
Before he went crazy? Okay.
Before he went crazy.
All right, let's move on to our recommendations for this month. Let's please stop talking about these two movies that I've watched more than once for this podcast.
Did we do that last?
Well, we do that after this.
Oh, okay.
So, calm your tits. All right, I'll start off recommendations since I have to tally these votes, and I'm not very good at math or English. Apparently,
we're not very well at English.
I'm not very well at English either. I'm going to recommend. It's not TV, or it's no, it's not TV. It's not a movie, and it's not a book. It's actually a streaming show on Amazon, and it stars in my book, The Three Wise Men, and it's called The Grand Tour. I love the Grand Tour. If anyone listening or any of you guys have ever watched Top Gear, you should know that Jeremy, James, and Richard left Top Gear and they started their own show on Amazon. And so far there's been 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this week will be the 4th episode, and they are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic. But it's called The Grand Tour. Check it out on Amazon Prime. I think you can get Amazon Prime for free for 30 days as a free trial. So they're releasing them weekly. They're not releasing them all at once. And it's just a great time. It is a show about cars, but the presenters actually make it very entertaining. And in fact, the second episode, there was one review about a car. Otherwise, it was them recreating, somewhat recreating a Tom Cruise film. I won't tell you which one. But it stars Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. Check it out, The Grand Tour. Gabe.
Yeah, I struggle with these recommendations, especially after we've been doing this for 6 years. It's like, and I don't get an opportunity to watch a lot of movies anymore, unfortunately. So, but I was watching HBO the other day, and Castaway was on, and I realized, oh yeah, this is a Christmas movie, and it's still really good. And I realized. Yeah, it is. I mean, it still holds up on a number of levels. It's a great story, great acting, beautiful direction. Visual effects are outstanding. And it still really holds up well. And so I thought I should recommend that if you haven't seen Castaway in a while, go watch it again.
Oh my God, I still can't watch that part where he takes his tooth out. I'm serious. Every time I watch that, I almost pass out. I don't know what it is about that scene, but it's horrifying to me.
Well, and that whole section of the movie where he's on the island by himself is to me is on a certain level kind of an ideal film experience in that there's not a lot of dialogue, and it's only the dialogue that's important. And we get to see what's happening. We're not told what's happening through things like dialogue or narration or anything like that. We just get to see the story unfold visually before our eyes. And to me, that is stellar filmmaking, and that's what I like in a film. Now the flip side of that would be, say, something, a Quentin Tarantino movie where it's going to be dialogue heavy and that kind of thing. That is enjoyable too, because if it's good dialogue, but so many times I feel like filmmakers rely on certain things to tell the story, or maybe kind of shove the story down our throats, just in case we're not smart enough to get it. And that's why I like things like Castaway, where it's like, just this is an interesting thing. Just watch it happening. And they do so many great things with the cinematography and the acting, and it really is a good film, and it really has not aged like some of the other films we were talking about tonight.
Tom Hanks married to Rita Wilson. I don't know if that is.
Oh yeah, there's another tie-in right there.
Who was in Jingle All the Way.
You don't say.
There you go.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
She was the non-crazy one, the grounded one. Tom.
Yeah, so I'm not ready to do this at all. So
okay,
I've seen some really good movies lately. So I'm usually really good about tying things together, and I've actually just like the last couple minutes trying to tie my recommendation to it, but I can't. So I think everybody should go see Kubo and the Two Strings, because it is absolutely beautiful. It's probably the best stop motion animation film I've ever seen. A lot of people who've seen the videos they think that it is a computer animated film, but it's not. It's actually all done with paper and stop motion. Mm-hmm. And it is an amazing story. It's a lot of fun. It's very funny. and the way everything kind of comes together at the end is really good. Matthew McConaughey is particularly great as Beetle.
All right.
He doesn't say that, and in the movie, I was very disappointed and probably a little happy too. But check out Kubo and the Two Strings. I've got my fingers crossed that it'll beat Zootopia for best animated film of the year. But it's a heavy year for that category, so we'll have to see.
I've heard a lot of great things. Have you seen the time lapses of them making a scene?
Yes, that's in the credits. At the
oh,
end.
really?
Actually, well, they it's funny because they stick it in the credits. It's almost as the credits are rolling, they're showing you one of the scenes with the time lapse going.
It's amazing.
It's funny that it adds to the movie because you're just blown away and sitting there and the credits roll, and then you're like, oh my god, this is like they actually built this stuff.
Yeah.
There's a big 13-foot skull that they made with swords sticking out of its head, and it's a beautiful film. I mean, I don't know if you can go on about cinematography and animated films, but it was just you should definitely check it out.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Kyle.
All right, so I'm going to recommend a TV show and a movie. I've been watching Documentary Now on IFC with Bill Hader and Fred Armisen. I really enjoy that. I think it's very funny, and they do great parodies of documentaries sometimes that take themselves a little too seriously. I think it's very good and enjoyable if you're into that kind of humor. And then I just had it up on my phone. Now I'm the one doing that thing. Oh, yes, I watched a movie called Electric Boogaloo, which is a 2014 documentary about Canon Films, who made films like Death Wish, American Ninja, Bloodsport, a lot of those kind of schlocky 80s like movies that are synonymous, Delta Force, that are synonymous with like violence and sex from the 80s and 90s. And it's really about them coming up and two Jewish filmmakers in Israel wanting to make movies, coming to America and kind of following that dream and seeing how far they can take it and what happens like when you overextend and get too big for your britches. And it's a really interesting film, and it touched on a lot of those movies that made up a big chunk of my childhood. I probably shouldn't have been watching Bloodsport back then, but man, I enjoyed it, and I loved those movies. So I think it's really interesting. You should give it a watch.
Nice. I watched that as well. I think it's a really good. Have you guys been watching South Park at all this season and the member berries? Like just watching, you're like, oh, I remember. You start remembering all these movies from the 80s, and you're like, holy crap, they are responsible for these. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. No, good pick, Kyle. Mark.
Okay, so if Kyle gets to pick a TV show and a movie, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I got to see Die Hard in the theater a few weeks ago, and to quote Chandler Bing from Friends, Die Hard, still good. That's my forward review. It holds up. It's the best movie. You can't argue against it.
It is a great Christmas movie. Yeah,
it's the best Christmas movie. But I don't watch too many. I haven't seen many movies this year. I haven't watched many new TV shows. But one show that I have watched is Atlanta on FX, and I don't know how to describe this movie. This TV show. Donald Glover, who's the star of it, created the show. He directs a couple of episodes. He has writing credits on all 10. And it's just sort of like he's the manager for his childhood friend named Paperboy. Well, that's his rapper name. And I know this sounds weird. And he sells like his own little mixtape out of his trunk, and he gets this song that becomes relatively popular in Atlanta. And while that's what happens in it, it's really not about that. It takes place in sort of like this, I don't know, surreal world that is Atlanta, but not really. And there's things such as invisible cars. There's a guy in the club with an invisible car. No one seems to like question that or anything. There's hot wings that glow like the suitcase in Pulp Fiction, and everyone. There's just all these very weird elements to the show, and it's the most creative thing I've seen on TV in the longest time, and I'm really afraid of either a sophomore slump in season 2 or that Donald Glover is going to be so busy being Lando Calrissian, he's not going to be able to devote the needed time to make season 2 exceptional like season 1 was.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I haven't seen anything like it, but I don't know if it's for everybody. But it's the most creative thing I've seen in any medium in a long time.
Yeah,
but I also don't watch a lot either.
Right. Well, you're not the only one that's brought Atlanta, at least to my attention. There's been like 3 other people that have told me about it, and I have to say I'm kind of interested. So maybe I'll check it out. So Donald Glover, right?
Yes.
He was in Community, which was Chevy Chase, and Chevy Chase had to turn down the role of Scott Calvin in Santa Claus. Huh.
All right.
There you go.
What's that movie like with Chevy Chase in it?
I bet there's a lot more physical comedy.
Wait, so he was going to be in the Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Well, they don't need to use prosthetics to make him gain weight. I would tell you that much.
Wow. The role of Scott Calvin Santa Claus was also written for Bill Murray. I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm still talking about these horrible movies. In case any of you want to get me a last minute gift idea, Turbo Man is going for around $200 on eBay right now in a box. Or you can get me a loose figure for like $60.
I got a loose figure for you.
I heard it's kind of soft and flaccid.
Like the one from the warehouse? Is it multi-language?
I hope so. But yeah, there's like a buy it now here for $300. I'm like, yeah, I don't want one that bad. All right, let's find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Your winner by decision is the Santa Claus!
I just know that if I'm ever in like a scary situation and I hear Arnold Schwarzenegger yell my name, I know that shit's about to go down. Because whether it was in True Lies where he's like, Dana! Or Jimmy! If he ever goes, Tom! I'm like, fuck this.
And if he yells at you to grab his hand, you grab his hand, all right?
I will go with him if I want to live.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Where can people, I don't know, bring a mistletoe over and hang it above your head and give you an awkward kiss? Gabe.
I'm not giving out my address.
Gabe's address is 1534 9th Street.
If you want to find me in the virtual world or whatever, online. Anyway, you can find me on Facebook or at onegenomeshort.com.
All right. Tom.
People can find me Vimeo, Facebook, just search my name. People can also find me at the Mall of America confronting fake Santas and chasing balls that defy the laws of physics.
Now,
they are super balls.
They are super balls, but super balls need to be chased too.
Are you talking? Never mind. Kyle, go ahead.
I have zero social media presence. I am a person of very little consequence in this world. So you can't get a hold of me, and I won't tell you anything when Jake Lloyd might be listening. But if you need me, I will be running with my black comedian friend to give an answer to a call-in at a radio station in person, which I think is weird.
But it's just down the street.
And hopefully, I'm going to run very slowly. I can run faster than people can dial a phone.
Yep.
I don't understand.
Yep. Mark.
I am on Facebook and Twitter at Jeremy Bentham 42, and that's all I got.
All right. You can follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever. Just search Mike Keeler. You can find our films on YouTube. Just search Southsider Studios. And you can, of course, follow Cinesmack on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also contact us at cinesmack@gmail.com. And if you can, leave us a review on iTunes or whatever podcasting service you use. Real quick, I want to thank Kyle for being back on the show, and I want to thank Mark for coming back after his very long hiatus. It was great having you both on. I wish we would have had better movies to talk about, but we needed to get these off the list.
I'm glad to be the person who helps you get movies off your list.
Well, Tom brought up that there's better Christmas movies out there, but it's really hard to find two Christmas movies that go against each other. Like, this one was kind of the father-son Christmas film. And I believe we've actually had long discussions about how we feel when we did that three-way bout, and Christmas Vacation kind of got the shaft. So we're trying to work out what Christmas Vacation should go up against.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2.
Ooh.
We've already done Die Hard. We did Die Hard versus Lethal Weapon.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. We need
I was on that one.
Yeah. We need Die Hard 2 to go up against something.
Lethal Weapon 2.
I don't think it happens during Christmas.
It doesn't matter.
All right. For January, we blow the shit out of the New Year's. Hard Boiled shoots it out with The Killer. And to quote Tom, there will be doves. I drink your milkshake. So for Tom, Gabe, Kyle, Mark, and myself, to all of you, our listeners, Merry Christmas. Thanks for listening, and go catch a flick.
Oh, this is awesome. Oh, come on.
Is it over? Is it safe to come out?
Look out, Tom. Jake Lloyd's right behind you.
Fuck you. Dude, that's not funny. Hey, Jake, how are you?
This has been a test of the Southsider Studios podcast system. This was only a test. If this were a true lack of entertainment, your head would explode. Go to iTunes and subscribe to our feed. Just search Southsider Studios.